Do we exist?
If virtual information,
are we living a dream?
Are we living in a simulation?
Are we living in a dream?
No.
Are we living
I don't
on a dream?
I don't want to get off topic, but since somebody brought that to the forefront, like that reality is a simulation, I can't sleep anymore. It's the Mochi podcast, the coolest cat. Just got a podcast with your hosts, Hayden, Zach, Tim, and our guest,
Dustin.
Yeah, buddy.
Oh, yeah.
I've already twisted mine.
But anyway, welcome to the podcast.
Yeah, dude.
Glad to be here.
Long time coming.
Yeah, I know.
We've been talking about this for how many months now?
I'm glad.
Long time.
Very long
So
time.
what was the I know we talked about it before. What was the first episode that you actually like listened to?
The first episode.
The first episode?
The first
so
ever
we
episode.
dropped it, you're
Well,
like,
I think how it got me introduced into it was the little animation you guys did for like the Halloween thing, I think.
Which was great.
That was super funny.
That
so I was
took a
like,
very long
man,
time
this
to
is
do.
funny. So this is when I first started listening to podcasts. And I was like, man, that's funny. I'm going to listen to those guys. So.
Yeah, that was
Thank
a
you.
lot of like clip art and
how
that
long
took a
did you
long
spend
time.
on that animation?
probably too long.
too long.
But it was great.
Very long
It
time.
was really good.
I forgot that Apple had that new update where you could do like people's faces and do like the mouth talking. And I made all of our characters, but I just never did any of
Oh,
the
yeah. I
animated.
remember that.
That's hilarious.
Anyway,
back to Dustin.
Already broken, but
It's funny, the first thing Dustin says when he walks the door, he's like, man, this room is small. I was like, oh, fuck.
It looks so much bigger in video.
It's huge,
It does.
man. It's huge. Can't you hear that echo?
It's pretty not really.
actually, if we like flip the cameras around, it's just like Lake's like 15
Yep.
feet down the hall, huge monitor,
You could just green screen
cinema
that wall.
camera.
Green screen it, and then you'll
We
just flip
could.
the cameras one day, and it's just like a long
I have a green
hallway.
screen downstairs.
we thought about doing that, just putting a green screen behind us and we just be in
Yeah.
different
Yeah.
spots.
Yeah.
In like the
It'd be funny.
desert.
Yeah.
I wonder if my 20-foot one would go from you to the.
Oh, I think it would.
I don't know.
Yeah.
This room's so
welcome
big.
to the
it might
Mochi
not make
Mochi
it.
Network. But anyway, Dustin, thank you for being on the podcast.
No, thank you
There's
guys
a
for
lot
having
of stuff that we need to talk to you because we've known you for a long time. And when I was talking to you today prior about the podcast, I was
Mhm.
like, so like going into like the podcast and how we've all known each other for almost a decade
I know.
now.
Yeah, it's
been a
been
while.
just about.
Like, so since like Vineyard shows, which we had the same talk with like Hunter's
Mhm.
the same way.
Yeah.
Vineyard is kind of like where most of this kind of started. That's why that's like the meeting point of like most people that we know of from the scene. My first kind of like question to you really is, what were you doing before shows? Because you didn't play music, you didn't really do bands, and so I didn't really know you until you did Neck Deep.
Oh,
Well,
wow.
Yeah, I didn't know he was. I knew him because of you.
Dude, Dustin was this like skater kid who was like the thing ripping it up, dude.
Yeah,
he was
that's
so
what I was
good.
gonna
Yeah,
say.
don't let him tell us.
This is back when. Oh, okay. Yeah, sorry.
So tell us a little bit who you are, Zach.
He
shut
was a
up.
skater boy before Nick Deeper boy.
yeah, I had skateboarding. Skateboarding is what I was doing before music or anything like that. But the way it transitioned was I would skate with a bunch of friends from like Skate Shack back in the day, and then none of my friends really were into music, so I had like 2 friend groups. But then the Fish came along, and the Fish had a skate
Hell
park.
yeah.
So then, obviously, the Fish died, and then we were able to go in and build the skate park. And then from there, I was like, okay. So I had 2 friend groups. So I had a friend group that would skateboard, and then I would go and like hang out with all my friends at shows and stuff
Which
like that.
the Fish was like a venue from where was the Birmingham?
It was in
McCalla.
McCalla,
yeah.
which
Taney Hill.
the Fish is like one of the most. If you're like our age,
Mhm.
because no one really younger than 22, maybe,
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
like
I'd say
if that.
22.
because we're all like 26 and 27,
Mhm.
so yeah, we,
25.
I never went to the Fish.
I'm
though.
25
yeah,
too.
which is so weird to me that you've
I never
been
went.
there.
I never went
You
either.
know, oh my god.
I never went to Cave 9 either.
So these jumps
I went to
over
Cave
here.
9.
Oh, I went to Cave
Actually,
9.
Whoa, the
Cave-
OG side.
Cave 9 was one of my first shows.
Yeah, dude.
Half Heart.
I saw
That was your first
Arsonist
show?
Get All the
Well, not my
Girls,
first, but-
Arsonist Get All the Girls, and August Burns Red's first
Yeah.
album at
Yeah.
Cave 9.
Yeah, I
was
jumped up on
sick.
stage during the Game of Life.
I don't know. So,
Really?
Have y'all ever been in the Cave 9? Do you just know about it?
I just know about that
So,
and the fish.
It's like-
Cave 9, you know
legendary.
the game Foursquare?
Yeah.
They had a Foursquare in the middle of the area.
I knew about
They have
that.
a Foursquare,
Yeah.
and then imagine Foursquare times 2. That's how big the venue was.
It was
Yeah, I knew it was very, very small.
was very
Imagine
small.
hardcore bands, punk bands, metal bands, deathcore bands playing that venue.
Mhm.
Oh my!
No,
Now,
I've
is this
seen
the Cloud9
pictures,
up
yeah.
in 5 Points?
No, this is the one like no, this is like the. It's
You know where the Alabama Arts?
it's right in the hood.
Yeah, I remember seeing pictures because somebody posted, a friend of mine posted a picture of when like Integrity played there. I want to say
Mhm.
that was the first time I ever saw the actual inside, and I was like, "It's
So
very small, very small, but very cool."
Even being like a teenager, it was really small.
Yeah,
I saw a lot of
13,
really
14.
good bands play
Mhm.
there.
Yeah. It was, Mom dropped me off, and
No, yeah, I mean,
yeah, Linda dropped me
I
off.
had a lot of older friends growing up, so they were like, "Hey, you want to go to a show?" And I'm like, "Yeah."
Exactly.
And I was like stepping away from the fish a little bit. And you're like, "Let's go to Cave 9." And I'm like,
Yeah.
"Oh, what's that?" And then we went,
Completely different.
and one of my first shows at Cave 9 was Have Art Ceremony and Swamp Thing. Can't remember a few others.
Oh, I saw
but
Trash Talk there too.
Trash Talk played there.
Yeah, oh, yeah. I was
saw
at that
them.
show
I saw
too.
Casey Jones.
Oh,
Yeah.
Casey saw Casey.
Yeah,
Jones
so-
too.
I'd heard about all these shows happening at this venue, but I had older friends too. But I was one of the younger kids. I was also like skateboarding in high school too. I was one of the younger kids who like if I ever asked them to go to a show, they'd be like, "Oh, I don't want to drag along this like younger kid," so I was never able to go.
Mhm.
But once I was able to
Don't
get my
blame
own
them.
car, I was able to go to what'd you say?
I said they're lost.
Yeah, whatever. It's true. Because I remember hearing about all these awesome shows and these bands that I was actually like starting to get into, like punk and hardcore, and even like older like metalcore bands are playing. I really wanted to go. As soon as I got my own car, around the time I got my own car, I was going to like shows at like the Vineyard and stuff like that. Though.
So just the kind of, so we showed them Cave 9,
Mhm.
the Fish. So the Fish is probably the coolest looking venue I've ever been to in Birmingham.
Mhm. It was very wide.
Yeah, it's this huge warehouse. It was a church, right?
Yeah, it was
Am I right?
interchange.
So you would
Interchange
just
church.
walk in, and then there'd be this big area where you can pay. They put their merch, and then you go through this opening, and it's just this huge warehouse all the way over, huge stage on the far back, and then there's more place for merch. Then they have a big like movie theater, like with the lights, where it says like sold out and the name of the artist.
Yeah.
Oh,
They would,
yeah.
they would
Yeah, I
have
remember
that right above like the bathrooms and stuff. And they would there's so much room, like you can never pack out that place.
Yeah.
I think the only time it was ever packed out was during Fish Fest.
That which would make sense.
But
Yeah.
it was a church.
It was
Yeah,
a
So
church.
what happened to the venue? They just nixed
Well,
it.
the church got bought out by the Methodist Council, and then soon after that, they kind of split off, and then they were just kind of keeping it afloat, but they were doing it through the skate ministry. And then soon after that, they just kind of stopped. But the church broke off first.
I feel like a lot of venues that were hosted through churches, that was the first thing to go when the church
Mhm.
was like, maybe not.
Yeah.
Property damage was I remember when we were doing Life
Liability.
Church.
Liability
Yeah.
too.
Yeah.
Life Church was like wild because like All In played every single Friday for $5 with Strike Zone, with just all these bands. Like people got hurt all the time,
It's true. Yeah.
and so they cut that real quick. Seeing
I mean,
Plead for Purging and all that stuff there.
The church right up the road where Laps, my friends in the hardcore band for a while called Laps, they practice at the church Agape. They had shows every now and again, and then like one kid got like knocked in the tooth, and then like his parents like lost it, and they stopped having shows there forever.
Dang.
So I mean, like for a church to have
One
shows,
tooth.
yeah, for a church to have shows going on as long as they did for even when like crazy stuff would happen. I mean, that's awesome of them for sure. It's not a lot of places would have had that.
Yeah.
The church we did the arc through, they let us do it because they pitched it to us. Hey, do all these bands and we'll raise this money for the youth ministry. And then, how long did the arc last? Not that long.
3 or 4 shows.
Because once we got into it, once they started seeing, what was that?
The light went.
The light
I think the
went out.
light died.
Did.
Damn.
Once the church saw all the money coming in, they held on to it and then used it for their own benefit. And so once we realized, hey, you're not doing it to better our youth group, our ministry or whatever, we called it and backed out.
Good on y'all though.
Yeah. So give me a second and I'm going to fix this.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, let's pause. What were we talking about? Music venues.
The fish.
Yeah, you were talking about the Ark,
The cave.
Oh yeah, they just took our money.
and that's back when people still hated the Hour of Reckoning.
Oh yeah, that's back. That's like right when you guys were like, "Hey, we're sponsored by Tom's," and we're like, "Dude, that's so cool." And you're like, "But not really. We only get like a 3% discount."
And Philip like bought those T-shirts like Uproar,
Oh yeah.
Uproar, and like MySpace people.
Yeah, I remember those.
Yeah, Philip bought like some of those. They'd be sponsored.
I'm just thinking of those
So,
clothes from then.
which is a good transition in my book to how YouTube pretty much, and the beginning stages of what y'all are kind of known for, and the entire scene when it comes to people is from that show. We talked with Hunter about him making the T-shirts for
Keep your guard.
Keep your guard.
And
Yeah.
Take
and
to
that
the
was
skies.
and that was like the first like shirts that Zach really done for someone. Which I don't know how he just charged $40, but
I didn't make any money on it, but that wasn't the point either.
yeah, you just wanted to do it.
I didn't know what I was doing.
But
I was
So-
screen printing. I'd bought a screen print kit from Michael's
Oh yeah.
Speedball, and just like squeegeeing these like Walmart T-shirts for Keep Your Guard. They loved them. They thought they were
I
great.
have one of
they
those.
sold like all of those.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I have a red one. What was that? I don't know if it was later on, but it's like a really big, like stacked logo. So it's Keep Your Guard.
I didn't
I
do that
remember
one. I
those.
did the one. It's like a Spartan looking thing.
Yeah, I don't think I had that one. I had like a later one.
I wouldn't
Good
play that
times,
school.
man.
It was pretty rough. Pretty rough.
Yeah, shout out John and all those guys.
Yeah.
But no, those were my first T-shirts.
Yeah.
My first like introduction, and from that, I'm like, dude, I love doing this. And then that's when I found that local screen print shop and
Yeah.
applied for that. And I don't think I was doing my own thing though. This is way before LCY ever.
You did
One
Alabama
thing.
hardcore.
When
and
did,
then you did
yeah.
then you did Honest
remember that.
Fight.
Yeah,
And
I remember
you did,
Honest Fight.
Dude,
Yeah,
let's talk
Honest
about
Fight.
that. Let's talk about that
Little
because
boxing glove
I'll-
logo.
yeah, that was
Because
sick.
this is during you too.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
and,
This is around the same startup time.
and the good thing about it is like y'all are the only ones that know about that process like to a T. So y'all can like really dive deep into that kind of like subject versus like us, because I know how he does it, but I don't know like all the struggles and like issues you go through with kind of making T-shirts, other than like watching Zach lose feeling in his thumbs pressing the LCY hoodies we did.
Yeah.
About like
yeah, that was I just love the creative process of creating something. And then to me, I was young. I'm like, dude, screen printing, dude, make your own T-shirts to be badass.
it's
So that
cool.
was
It is cool.
That's
Sell
the
to your
only,
friends.
so
Yeah.
after I got the job at the screen print shop, the owner was like, hey man, if you got any ideas, you run away with it. Do whatever you want to do.
Yeah, that's awesome.
He's like, you'll print for me during our time, but
Right.
then after hours, whatever you got, just do what you want.
Yeah.
And so I'd played around with some Honest Fight ideas, but I don't think I was like fully committed in it, and I didn't like put the time into it to push it to ever make it do anything.
Right.
And so I did those. It's funny that you bring up the Alabama hardcore shirts, because I got a lot of flack for doing those shirts.
Really?
Yeah.
That's what Tim has told me a little bit
I
about
can
that.
see why though. I can see why. There was a lot of negativity around that time.
Yeah.
A lot of like new and like older people that were like into hardcore music that were just like, oh no, that's stupid. Like, why are you doing that?
But I'm like, dude, it
Who
like
cares
to
at
me,
this
I thought it
point?
was so cool because I was
Yeah.
like, I could do the for anybody who doesn't know, I printed these black T-shirts that said Alabama Hardcore on the front, and on the back it said Birmingham 205, and it was supposed to be a Birmingham, Huntsville, and Tuscaloosa, and I'd only released the Birmingham ones, and they sold out like that.
Yeah.
I was like, damn. And then I used that money to go to the beach on. I blew it all. But then I got back. I'm like, well, shit, I'll print some more. And so I did. And then that's when I got caught wind. And people were like, this, you're just like taking advantage of the scene. You're taking advantage of Alabama hardcore. But to me, I was like, you can't coin the phrase like "have a nice day." How do you coin the phrase Alabama hardcore? I'm like, and it was supposed to be, like I said, all these three. I should have done the Tuscaloosa one because I had crimson, red, and white on black with Tuscaloosa.
And it's probably people who were just like didn't think you were like legit, like you're real, because you didn't really go to shows that much
Yeah, I was
to a certain
kinda
extent.
backing out at that
And,
time. But I found
Who cares, man?
I found a
It's
notebook.
cool.
a couple of weeks ago that had sketches in it because I'd planned out this thing as like Alabama hardcore would be badass. Because this is the time that the Ark was thriving. We still had the Firehouse they had shows all the time,
right.
and then the Forge was like at its peak. I was like, we'll do Alabama hardcore on the front, and then the back will be like a picture of the venue. And so each venue would have their own shirt, and the proceeds would go to that.
Yeah.
And I had sketched up this website. It'd be alabamahardcore.com, and you'd go to it, and it'd have all the venues. It'd have a short little write-up about it, the directions, and phone number and stuff. And then it'd have its own like Facebook widget. So anytime they posted events, it would be right there.
Yeah.
Then I came to find out, it's like, well, there's a website called Bands in Town that does that already.
Is it so it's pretty much just like Knocked Up, where they're trying to make the website for all their porn clips, but
yeah, but I was like,
Mr.
That would be
Teeth
cool.
or
It could
whatever
grow
it's called.
into like, because also at this time MySpace was huge. We're kind of transitioning into Facebook really, but I had gotten into making a lot of the flyers for a lot of the local shows. I was like, that'd be badass too. Do Alabama hardcore and then just print the flyer on the back, and then whatever sells, put that money to the venue or to the bands that play that night. But after I started getting all this flack back, I was like, okay, I don't really want to get into this. And
I've only ever heard of that, like, and Tim has told me that, like, because of you weren't really too into the scene, like, what were people saying that was just like that bad? Were they just like kind of calling you out or being like, because they thought you were using the money for your own benefit? And it was like,
because the scene has changed.
That's not new to hardcore at all. People using that money for their own benefit at all.
Right.
Like, so for the people to give you shit about that, that's stupid.
But I get it, because at the time of doing the first batch that I sold, it was us and Jordan and his whole crew and the people that we knew that were now no longer kind of transitioning out of, I don't know what it was, if maybe the venues were just falling off or the bands weren't that good or there was just too much drama.
There's probably people that wore those bold shirts all the time, that just a regular shirt that just says bold and bold letters with an underline on it. It's probably those people.
See, I don't even remember that.
It's a lot of older people.
That's
for
a
sure.
band.
I feel like it was a lot of more of like the Cave 9 crowd that didn't really go to the Forge, or because Cave 9 died and then it went to Green Cup and then it went to like some random place like by the train tracks.
Mm-hmm.
And then after that it just died and then it was the Forge.
Yeah.
But it was a lot of this older people, and then like within the 2 to 3 years time span of it dying, that people were like catching a lot of flack and yelling and screaming and being like, screw you guys.
Yeah,
But,
well, that was it. I was like, okay, I can take a hint. I mean, I get it. I might have felt the same way, being someone who was in the scene. It's like, well, who's printing all these t-shirts? I don't know, just some guy.
So which is really funny that Zach is telling us about that and getting flack. And Dustin, we know you definitely know you got a little bit of flack with Neck Deep.
I did.
So kind of explain
how did you get into like screen printing and stuff?
Yeah, and then all the way to
start from the beginning,
the very beginning of everything.
And then to what you do now.
Wow,
you're our guest, man. Go for it.
Yeah,
I've never told the story. Well, not all the way through. So,
do you have a little bit more, Zach? You want to talk to about before he gets into it?
No, I'll have some questions before he jumps into what he's currently doing today. Because I want to talk about Battlegrounds. Was it Battlegrounds or Battleground?
The skate.
I want to talk about that.
Skate shop, skate park.
Yeah, we can totally jump into that because I had a huge part in that and like the rise and the fall of it. So
because that was so cool.
It was awesome.
This is the time I worked at the Vestavia skate park, and Battleground was like the up and coming. Like it was,
because it was indoor every time it rained or it was cold or anything. People just came in, and we were there all the time. I had a key. So, like, if someone wanted to come skate, and it was, like, a Sunday late night, someone just wanted to come skate or whatever, we would get a group of people, have, like, a group text, and just be like, hey, come skate. I've got a key.
Very
group
cool.
text.
Go there and hang out till 2 a.m. and party and go home.
I just remember you doing the big mural on the wall.
Oh, yeah. And then
We'll get to that. So, anyway,
day.
Creatively, what was your push to start wanting to do, like, a clothing line or a...
I think skateboard graphics. I think like being in skateboarding, seeing other big brands like Toy Machine and stuff like that, like creating all these like really cool skateboard graphics. And I'm like, I want to do that. And I've always drawn and stuff. So I was like, it would be really cool to just like make my own stuff and like sell it to my friends, and all my friends like have a piece of it, take home with them or whatever. So I think it was late 10th, 11th grade. I decided to start Neck Deep, and I used to just like screw around in computer class and like get on Big Cartel and scroll through all these like new upcoming bands and brands that are just like producing all their own content. I was like, okay, I'm gonna take it slow. I'm gonna try to figure this out on my own. So I got my first MacBook and just kind of learned from there, like how to use Illustrator and use like a Wacom tablet. And I eventually just threw it away because I couldn't learn how to do it. So I would just like draw stuff and trace it into like a scanner, and then like go in and use the pen tool, and just took forever. And then from there, I would do, I did a lot of freelance work for like bands and stuff for a while. Like I did some stuff for issues, stuff that like never got printed. That was when Jake Vinson was in the band when they first started.
That's pretty cool though.
And so I did that for a while, and I made a portfolio and tried to get a job like downtown, like doing design. And after that, I was like, no, like I don't want to do like freelance work for anybody else. I kind of just want to work for myself.
Right.
So I did.
So how old are you at this point?
I'm 17 years old. Yeah, 17, 18 years old. So this is when I was working at Starbucks, and I was co-oping. And then shortly after that, I worked for CCS for a while.
What?
Yeah, I worked for CCS for about
the
Galleria.
Half a year, maybe.
R.I.P.
Yeah, I worked for half a year.
They still email me.
So many people.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah,
really?
I still get their
Do they
emails.
still have catalogs?
I guess so.
I don't
know,
ever get them
do they?
anymore.
So many
they
people
email
work there that I know, and people would work there, and they'd work like a shift a week or something.
Oh, it sucked. It was bad. I remember like going in there, and I caught a lot of beef with like all the faith guys for like, oh, you're working at CCS. I'm like, no, I just want to work there because like I want to learn retail.
Yeah.
Like I wanted to get the retail experience. I want to know what it feels like to work retail. Never did it. I didn't want to work at like Abercrombie because that's kind of lame. I was like, I want to work somewhere where I would like to work.
Which is a little bit cooler for sure. Yeah, I get that. Yeah.
So I worked there and got fired. And then
oh, dang.
That's around the time where like Neck Deep kind of like took off. I'm like, yeah, this is good. Like I was like selling stuff to all my friends in school. So like they would come to school with money, and I would like sell shirts out of my locker.
That's cool.
I got in trouble for that. And then,
dude, it's the grind, man. You gotta do what you
can. And I wasn't in it for the money. I was for a second, because I didn't make any money at CCS or Starbucks really. I made enough to pay my bills and pay my MacBook payment that I had through Best Buy. That was it. That's all the money I made. So I think about 7 months after that, that's when Neck Deep like became a band.
Oh yeah.
And then
they took off like immediately.
I saw their stuff on Tumblr, because I used to post on Tumblr all the time. Like with the brand, I would get like a lot of reviews and stuff through it.
And they were like the Tumblr band.
I know. They were like the Tumblr pop punk band. So I saw their stuff. I'm like, oh, don't be scared. Like it'll be okay. Like they're from the UK. I don't have anything to worry about.
Right.
And then they got booked in a show with a Date Remember in Ocala, Florida.
Yeah.
So then shortly after that, they got signed with Hopeless Records.
Yeah, they got big.
So then all my friends were like, oh, what are you going to do? And then I'm like super discouraged. I don't know what to do. So I kind of just like laid off a little bit. I'm like, nah, I'm going to keep doing this. So like I released a few more t-shirts. At this time, I've already quit CCS and all that stuff. So I started working for a print shop. It's called New Republic Printing. They're actually teamed up with Faith now downtown. Like they have their own little spot with them. That way they can save money and don't have to pay as much rent and stuff like that. So I worked for this guy named Steve, super cool dude. And he would let me print my shirts for basically free. I would just buy the blanks and then print my stuff, like free ink fees and all that stuff.
Sick.
So it helped me out a lot. I was able to print all my stuff. And then he also did a lot of hardcore bands, like, God, I can't remember.
Gideon at all?
We didn't do Gideon stuff. We did a lot of, I can't remember the bands. A lot of like touring. We did Slapshot.
Oh, really?
We did some Slapshot shirts. I don't know if they were genuine shirts, but I know that we did a lot of Slapshot stuff. I can't remember any of the bands for some reason right now. But it was really cool working there. It was just like, obviously, it's very tiring, and like my wrist wanted to give up on me.
That's what I hear about.
It's a sweatshop.
Yeah.
And really? I got paid like below minimum wage, and I was driving an hour to Pelham and then an hour home every day that I worked. And I was working like 4 days a week. And maybe 5 hours a day. So it was tiring, and I was only in it for myself, really, because I got to print my stuff for free. So to avoid any legal issues with the band and like Hopeless Records, like finding out that they, like teamed up and stuff, I just quit Neck Deep altogether. And all my friends are like, why'd you do that? Like, you could have ran with it. And I'm like, no, like, they're blowing up. They just released like a new record. And there was so much like flack on me for all that because everybody was like, oh, you stole the name from them. And I'm like, no, I didn't.
People had
stole
no idea.
Because I was doing it for so long before them that I'd planned it like 6 months before I even made my first shirts.
Yeah, dude,
It makes you feel better. Philip can, validate this. I actually came up with the name Skype before it was a thing too.
Really?
You told me about that.
It was my World of Warcraft character when I was 9 years old.
Skype. Huh.
Yeah, that was crazy.
Yeah, came up with Skype.
Still his gamer tag and everything.
Yeah.
Skype V. Yeah.
Sky V.
Hell yeah.
So the rise of Neck Deep, did you see an increase in business? And then people were like, whoa, this isn't even band merch. Did that ever happen?
Yeah. So I remember a few people were like kind of latching on because I was still in Big Cartel.
Mm-hmm.
So also was the band at the time. So they were like selling their own merch and then I was selling my stuff. And then I had a few people that would buy my stuff and then email me and be like, hey, this isn't band merch. Like, this isn't from the band. I want a refund. And I'm like, I'm sorry. Like, I can't do anything about it. And I'm like,
right.
So it was pretty upsetting because I'd started something that I wanted to roll with and something I was like kind of working on a meeting for.
Mm-hmm.
And then it just kind of plummeted.
Right.
A very unique position to be in because you could have run with it until legal kicked in.
And like,
exactly.
Taking all your
and
profit.
like, what are the odds of like that happening? That's very slim. And the fact that it does happen, I feel like that could be very discouraging, but you definitely went and like, the fact that you kept going is really, really cool.
Yeah. It's just funny because I didn't want to start a brand with like some like well-known name. Like I didn't really want it to mean anything. It was just kind of like a learning curve for me. So Neck Deep came from the song from Title Fight, their first record. So like I was listening to it and I was like, oh, that's a cool name. Like I'll just do that. And I wrote it like down. Like I had like a book of like all these names I wanted to do for a brand. And I wrote it down. I was like, I like the way that looks. I like how it's like four letters. I can stack it. I can do anything I want to with it. It really doesn't have a meaning. And it sucked.
It was perfect because it was around the time where people were doing like Drop Dead and it fit
and Drop Dead was
clothes.
That was definitely an inspiration for me. Like I had so many inspirations and like I just wanted to be super simple. I wanted to cater to the skateboarding and music crowd. And at that time I was in the cars and I'm like, I don't want to do a car brand that's dumb, And it stunk. And I remember getting, I talked to Danny Abassi. He's the drummer for Neck Deep. We talked for a little bit, and he was like super into Gideon. This is like before their rise. And we were talking and chatting and stuff like that. And he was like, it's so cool that you're doing your thing. It's Neck Deep. And I'm like, it's so cool you're doing your thing and drummer for this band. And then they go on tour and kick it off. And they're like touring with like Story So Far. Dude, it sucked. So I took a year off. And I was like super discouraged. I didn't want to do anything. I think I was just doing freelance design work for like just bands and like random people that I could like, I would go on these websites like Mentees when it was around, and they had these like articles where you could go through and like pick out people that you wanted to design for because they were like looking for work. Oh, hey, we need this shirt and this logo design for our band, and you would do it for like $50. And I would do that for a while, and then finally I hated how people would like kind of direct me with like my style. So I quickly was like, no, like I don't want to be directed. I want to do my own stuff and sell my own stuff. So that's how Okie Doke kind of came about.
I still like the Halloween Neck Deep. I think that's my favorite shirt.
Oh yeah, the tie dye.
Yeah, with the
lantern
the skull.
on the back.
Yeah, that's
those are the first shirts that I printed at the print shop.
Yeah, because I remember like when you did because Odd Future got really big, and then you did that shirt that like I remember when that happened.
I sold those exclusively at that hardcore festival, and I remember like a few people I won't mention because I don't want to say any names, but a few people I know now that would be like, oh, that's so stupid, like you're dumb, or like wouldn't have anything to do with me, like bought shirts from me at that hardcore festival.
What now, suckers?
Yeah, and now they don't have anything to do with me, so screw you.
Still got your money.
Yeah, still got your money.
But it's kind of crazy how like all this stuff, like I think any company is like that though, where like you had this very good beginning and you thought it was very promising. nah, bitch. Something happens really drastically.
It happens,
And then
man.
just you have to sit back and figure out like, what am I gonna do now? And then when you come back, it's just super strong.
It was a definite line of like, you've got to do this again. Like, you had a good following. You can do this. You
You're
have the
just
power
creative
to do it.
in general.
Yeah, and like, I'm not the type of person to just kind of sit there and not do anything. I like doing things on my own and being like pretty genuine about it. So it was cool to jump back in it and then actually jump back in it and then have a following again. Like, it's like no one left.
During that break, is that when you really started getting into cars?
Yeah.
Are you
I
still
had the
at
money.
Are you still at the print shop during this time too?
Still at the print shop. No, I think I just left the print shop. I quit.
Okay.
So I was printing my shirts there, and then Neck Deep came to an end, and I was like, why am I here?
Yeah,
Like, why am I here still?
gone.
Yeah, so
The
I'm
benefit.
like, nah, screw this, I'm gonna leave. So that's why I got the job at Chase Base. I like posted a Facebook status. I was like, hey, like looking for a job. This is after I met Chase at like an Import Alliance in 2012, I think. So this is like right out of high school. So right out of high school is when I started my new job at Chase Base, and I've been there for about almost 5 years.
So what is Chase Base?
Chase Base is a business that specializes in, I guess to put it to all like the viewers and listeners and stuff, we specialize in fluid transfer products for like race cars and drag cars and mostly drifting and stuff related. So like if you're putting an engine in like a 240 and you want like new brake lines and like a power steering kit, you want to like redo all this stuff and pretty up the bay and make it look nice and like presentable and not like so cluttered. That's what we specialize in.
Right.
Zach, you could do that.
Could I?
Yeah, you probably by yourself because you're just so handy and do
You
everything.
just got to figure it out.
Oh,
man.
new brake lines.
Well, when you-
oh, yeah.
figure
Watch
it out
a
on
video
YouTube.
on YouTube to do that.
I mean, yeah, YouTube is your friend. Google is your friend. I'm telling you.
When I first started working for them, we were strictly just doing wiring harnesses, and we did like a few other like brake lines and fender well lines and stuff for like certain cars, but it was only through another company, and then we brought all that stuff in house and then ditched wiring,
Gotcha.
and then that's when we just blew up. Yeah, I mean, it started so fast. I worked there, and then maybe half a year later of working there, I was like, okay, I'm going to start like a brand that's centered around cars. And at first, it was just like throw a banner on like a car and then watch the followers come in, and throw another banner on a car and watch the followers come in. So it started out kind of like that, and then we made like stickers and air fresheners and a few other things. And dude, it blew up.
Yeah, it started. It was so
When
like,
the algorithm was good,
yeah.
whoa. Like, I was like, oh, holy shit. Like, it just...
Mm-hmm.
it
I
blew
mean,
up.
all you talk
It
about,
was
all I
wild.
ever see you really talk about is like orders.
Mhm.
That's like
Yeah.
all I ever see you talking
Yeah.
about now.
Always
Lately
on
it's
his
been
mind.
slow, but I have so much like back stock and stuff I have to get rid of that
Mm-hmm.
I'm like struggling to get more inventory. I have the money to do it, but I don't have room for
Yeah.
it. So
That's the fun part, though.
I know.
To me, that's the coolest
Yeah.
part. It's
Like, damn,
yeah,
we got too much stuff and enough money. Like,
yeah. Well, that's why we attend shows and stuff, and we'll like travel. We went to Daytona and we went to Atlanta shortly after that, and just set up a tent and like do like $1,500, $2,000 in a day, and go home.
Mhm.
And I'm like, I just sold all that stuff. Cool. Now on to the next thing.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
So, you're at Chase Base. Are you doing graphics for them? What are you doing? for,
So when I first started at Chase Base, I was doing strictly video work.
Mhm.
So we would do like video install guides for people that would like send in emails and be like, hey, I don't know how to install this product. You know, kind of like you go on Amazon, it's like, hey, like, I don't know how this works. And then like someone's already answered that question.
Yeah.
So it kind of helps in emails. So I started doing that. We did a few like different cars where we would install like brake lines and fuel line kits and stuff like that. And I would do voiceovers. So I would like step in, we would like video the whole thing, and then I would go back in and script it. And then I would like talk into a mic like this, like a little blue mic, and I would be like, put this line on this thing. And then, dude, like it worked. Like people would like someone would send in an email and be like, hey, I don't know how to install this. And we just send them the video and like, oh,
Yeah.
it's cool, thanks. Like people are so visual
Yeah.
that they want
yeah.
to see like hands-on, like how this product works and all this stuff. So did that. And then we ditched wiring. We ditched a few guys, like got rid of them. And then, we started doing in-house stuff after we moved from West End to downtown Birmingham to the 4th Avenue spot.
Yeah.
So quickly after that, it just grew so much that I was stuck doing so much on the back end, like actually assembling products and like shipping orders and stuff, that it's taken 4 years until now to actually jump back into media marketing design.
Oh, wow.
So I'm just now getting back to where I was originally hired for.
Okay. Well,
It's taken so long.
I didn't know up until now. I thought Chase Bays was, I'd seen on his website he sold different parts and stuff, but I thought it was like a, don't take this the wrong way, I thought it was like a drift company. And I thought you were there. It
technically is. Yeah.
Is it? Okay.
I mean, we cater mostly towards drifting.
Okay.
So a lot of times, like, if you're building a car, you want to redo a lot of the stuff that you have. So when you think drifting, you think like handbrake and like brake lines and like all these different things. So like we actually make a handbrake now, like an aftermarket handbrake that you can install in your car, and then like a line kit that you can like run to the rear and stuff like that. So
dang, that's cool.
And it's actually like one of our number one hits now. Like we sell so many of them.
Okay.
And it's like a super sleek, like it's like, I would say it's best on the market because it's like easier to hide and you can't like, I don't know. It just looks cool.
It sounds like it's something that would be very unique, but I mean, it sounds like a high volume is being sold of it. Like
drifting's like growing. It's weird. I was big into it in high school, but I knew I would never have the money to like pursue it. And then the same thing with just like modifying cars. Never had the money. I could barely afford a skateboard. Right. So if I broke it, I'm like, I gotta wait till the next paycheck. And I'm like, $50 for a skateboard. Like how? So then that's how Neck Deep started. Really, it's like I didn't have money. I needed like the things that I wanted to like pursue hobbies and stuff. So
okie doke, it's growing now. Mm-hmm. And then it's to a point to where Chase Bays, they know about it. They can't not know about it.
Yeah.
Do they mind? Yeah. I guess they're cool with you do your own stuff on the side.
Yeah, they don't mind.
That's
cool.
It doesn't. I don't think it hurts their business. If anything, it helps their business because now he's a personality, and also like he's.
And that's
you're slapping on every single car, right? Pretty much.
Yeah. Well, not technically. I kind of just like. At first, it was that way, but I didn't want it to be like a slap in the face to everybody and be like, to be a part of our crew, you've got to rep a sticker and all this stuff. So I saw a lot of these brands. A lot of these brands that I've seen like come and go, they're gone because they did that. They would like shove it in your face and be like, all right, well, if you want to be a part of our team, you have to put the sticker on your car, and you can't have anybody else's sticker on your car.
No, bitch.
No, I just only Salt Life on my car.
Only Salt Life?
Yeah.
I'm down with
in this house, we only represent LCY. Nobody else, bitch.
Before we get into the next part of the podcast, before we get into the next part
Sponsors.
of the podcast, we're going to do a sponsor.
This episode of the Mochi Podcast is brought to you by Anchor FM. Anchor is the one-stop shop for recording, hosting, and distributing your podcast. Best of all, it's 100% free and ridiculously easy to use. And now, Anchor can match you with great sponsors too, so you can get paid to podcast. No microphones, no mixer, no problem. With Anchor, you can record audio straight from your mobile device. We hear all the time from friends wanting to start a podcast on how to get your foot in the door. Anchor supplies you with the tools you need along with the resources to distribute your podcast on major networks like Apple Podcasts and Spotify. So, if you are looking to launch a podcast, do it with Anchor. Sign up today at anchor.fm/start. That's anchor.fm/start. Thank you, Anchor, for sponsoring this episode of the Mochi Podcast. So, at this point, you start at Chase Bays. Is this when you start getting into cars and wanting to start modifying cars? When did that kick in? Because I feel like that has a lot to do with your brand now. Is it a car brand? Is it a clothing? What would you?
I would say now that
Streetwear or whatever.
I would say it was just still a streetwear brand because cars are like I would say it like this. I would say that anything that I'm interested in, my brand is. So cars, music, streetwear, whatever it is, because like if I make it towards one thing, only a certain amount of people are going to buy it.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's not really about that. But I want all of my interests to kind of influence other people. And then it'd also be like, oh, yeah, that's cool. I'll buy a shirt, whatever.
Yeah,
so
you want an LCY shirt? Because I have a bunch of those that I'm never going to sell to anyone.
I would love one.
Okay.
You still have hoodies, right?
I do not have no, dude. Hoodies is what everybody wants. Everyone's like, I want an LCY hoodie, but I don't want the one that you have. I want a new one.
He was thinking
completely different.
He was thinking of printing these designs right here, these Never Cool and whatever that Zach designed on a hoodie, just to be like almost like this big on how this hoodie is.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'd wear that every day.
I'd wear it.
I mean,
it's sick as hell, man.
If you want to pay for it, go for it.
I mean, I don't know who has a job.
One out of one, rare.
I'm really upset that Zach's leaving in like
Oh, that's right.
3 hours.
Like
Shun.
24 days.
Shun. Yeah.
Go
Look at
live.
me.
Go live your life.
Look at me.
I feel the love. I can feel it.
We're going to miss you, Zach.
I can feel it.
Anyways, back to Dustin with the history of Okie Doke.
Yeah, because I want to talk about too. At what point did you start? Because you just did a huge car show in Atlanta or something.
Yeah, we went to a car show in Atlanta. It was Stand Station. So Stand
Okay.
Station is a big car blog. We'll start off as a car blog, and it's like a huge Instagram page where they repost
Stance
cars.
Nation.
Mhm.
Yeah. I used to follow
So
them.
they created their own series of car events. And last year they did one in Atlanta, and we went. And then this year we went to one in Atlanta. It's really fun. They're
You've done-
very, very selective about like who gets in and who doesn't. So
Oh, wow.
But
But
you
you-
selected
you've-
like maybe 50
You've done your
cars.
own here in Birmingham,
Mhm.
haven't you?
Yeah. We didn't do one this year, but we did one last year and the year before.
So how is it coming to be like, I want to do this, I want to put on this event, that kind of process?
Birmingham doesn't have it.
Really?
Yeah. Birmingham doesn't have a car scene. So like
Or
starting a
hip-hop.
car like brand in Birmingham has been hard, but I've also been able to like visit different cities and like kind of, spread the word about the brand also through, social media and stuff. But I don't know.
I take it just like hip hop is in a way.
Yeah, like
Where,
there's
we have David Jones. That's like that's
Yeah.
like the person who does.
Nobody really would book hip hop shows in Birmingham at
Well,
all.
I would put it against like kind of being like an up and coming band.
Mhm.
Like, okay, I have this band. I want to, play these shows. Well, there's only a select amount of venues. There's a select amount of shows here, so it's kind of hard to like get the name out. So
Yeah,
you gotta
want to
like
pick the big cities that make the most money.
Exactly. So you have to like go to these other cities and stuff to kind of spread the word about your brand or band or whatever it is. So like with here, I have my friends and stuff that are into cars and like the stuff that I do, but other than that, like no one buys anything from me.
Right.
No one. So like I have to sell my stuff online to people in California and Canada and New Zealand and Australia and like Florida, like all these big places that have a car following or, are into car events or car shows or whatever it is that they're into. But I've learned pretty quickly that it's hard to have a following here in Birmingham. But that's why I started the style-driven events the first and the second year, is so that we can kind of get a feel of like who would come to Birmingham. Like,
Mhm.
do people think of Birmingham as like a pretty good city to go to? And
Mm-hmm.
they were nice events, but I think that after the last one that we did, that we probably won't do it again. I may do it again, but we spent so much money and just
Right.
didn't get anything in return. So
Yeah. Well, you never know. You got to put yourself out
Quick
there.
question. I've been trying to figure out this for like forever. Obviously, you see the LCY
Mhm.
like cloth flag I have
Yeah.
here. Where the hell do you go to make flags like this? I've been trying to figure out for years how to make
China.
China. You just online. You just
China.
upload your thing and then
To anyone that is listening, if you go to Alibaba.com
Alibaba.
and you make an account, you can literally make and buy anything you want to on there. So I was
We're
like,
not
hey, I want to
sponsored by
get
them, by the way.
Nabori flags made. So I was like trying to find a supplier in the US and no one makes them because they're like a Japanese style
Yeah.
flag. So I went to China. Well, I didn't actually go there. Yeah, I flew to China.
You probably make some good money over there.
Yeah.
What does this say?
I just got on there and messaged a few people that had, because you know how it works. I'm sure you know how it works. You get on there and you see photos of like products and like brands that you know, and you're like, I know where these brands got their stuff made.
Yep.
So I was like, oh. So I saw a picture of Greddy. Greddy is like a manufacturer of like import parts for like cars that I drive and stuff.
Mhm.
And I'm like, oh, they made flags for Greddy, like this reputable Japanese brand. I'm going to message them. So I did, and they were like, hey, 25 cents a flag. But I had
What?
to get
There's a
150 made.
Yeah, there's
That
a-
ain't nothing though.
So I'm like, holy crap, I can get all these flags made. So I had 25 of like a sticker design that I had,
Yeah.
and then I had 25 of those made, and then I did 4 of each color for Style Driven. That way I could sell them at the event and just make buttloads of profit for them. So that way we can like pour it back into the brand.
Right. Yeah.
But yeah,
We'll
you
make
just
a
go on
lawn chair
Alibaba and
tonight.
like we get air fresheners through there. This is like a trade secret. I'm like sharing all the trade secrets
But
for
it's,
brands.
I mean, I guess it. I mean,
But
I
I
don't know, it's
mean,
different
if
for
you
us
can't-
because
website.
yeah, if you can't get it for like a good price And like I get like the whole like, oh, you get stuff made in China, it's not made in the USA. Like I'm not buying from you. It's like, dude, how am I supposed to make money?
We drive Hondas, bitch.
Yeah. I drive a Ford.
I drive a Land Cruiser.
Now that I'm looking at it, though, we did.
I drive a Suburban.
Tim Bob, you hang the flag backwards.
Hell yeah.
It's like the wrong side.
Yeah, so we're gonna make some lawn chair ones tonight.
Yeah. Also, when we do like certain things and we're like not certain with the company that we're working with, we'll do samples and they make you pay like obscene amounts for samples.
Yep.
So we got one like air freshener, maybe like a certain scent that I wanted to like nail. And I had to like, I bought like these like scents or whatever from like Michael's like essential oils and like tried to mix my own scent together. And then we were going to get a sample made from China. It was like $120 for one air freshener sprayed with the custom scent that I wanted just to test it. And I'm like, not worth it.
Yeah.
Because I mean, like in the long run, I could make that money back, but it's like $125 for one air freshener. What if it's not right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm probably never going to try the scent again. Yeah. So
if you're like a $1 million company,
then so the investment would be worth it.
100%.
And I mean, technically it would be now. It would be worth the investment. I probably still will do it. I just haven't like, this is like a lately type thing that I've been like working with, but yeah, it's expensive.
It's so sick, man. Just to see just what it become. And like in over like a decade almost, like just to see what two different sides of people making like t-shirts in like the community and the local scene, because no one else in the scene does anything like that.
Not that I know of.
I mean, there's probably some new companies, and there's like a bunch of like Birmingham type brands that are like,
but not one guy doing it.
Yeah,
not like that.
I do everything.
Yeah,
everything's done by me. Like design, I mean, printing's not done by me anymore, but I have a few like outsources for stuff like that. But
that's what I loved about LCY. We looked at, because I shortly after joining the print shop, I was there for about a year, and I went in for a raise, and the guy was like, "Can't do it." I'm like,
it's hard for a print shop.
Yeah. I understand. Yeah. And then I left. That's when I left to go work for the AV company. But then I bought all my own printing equipment to do LCY. And for me, that's the funnest part. Is I love seeing a shelf with all the T-shirts that I hand printed. And even still, I see Honest Fight stuff somebody's wearing, and I'm like, I hand printed that. Like
I saw a guy.
It's cool to see and like appreciate. It's like, wow. Like people will send me pictures all the time of like shows like in California. It's like, hey, I spotted your T-shirt. I'm like,
do you still see like neck deep stuff?
I do.
Around?
I actually not too long ago, me and my girlfriend went to Plato's Closet. I think we saw a neck deep shirt in Plato's.
No way.
So it's like, what? Like it's been 5 years. It's been that.
Sorry,
it's going in.
Yeah,
it's going in.
But yeah, it's cool, and it allows me to kind of step back for a second and be like, I did that. It's because like, I mean, designs can take, something simple like that, for instance, like that took a long time, but it was a rendition of like 50 other logos that I actually just picked one. It was like, this is simple enough, I can roll with it, and I can use it for at least 10 years, and it'd be okay.
Yeah, I'm with you.
I was excited when he did Honest Fight. I remember my first year at Best Buy, saw a guy walk in with the Honest Fight crew neck.
Yeah.
And I was like, dude, my friend made that crew neck. He's like, oh, that's cool. I was like, he definitely bought it at a Plato's Closet or something.
They don't know.
They had no clue. I was like, I don't know who you are. You definitely didn't buy that from Zach.
Yeah.
And like, and I remember like his designs of like the boxing gloves and stuff like that. I was really excited for a lot of stuff he was going to do. And then even with LCY, like we had like all these, like we had a lot of ideas because I just come up with names. Like I would be writing lyrics to songs, and during writing lyrics to songs, we'll come up with like all kinds of things. Like I thought about coming up with a clothing line called Rent Money.
That's cool.
Don't steal it. Don't steal it.
Too late.
Don't steal it.
Well, like I want to come up with a thing called Rent Money, and literally all the clothes would just pay my rent. Like
we talked about that.
It's like,
pretty
help
seriously.
fund my life, please. I'm begging you.
So then we had Lawn Chair Youth. We had Retire Young. We had Far From the Lazy. Like like there's like all of these kind of like concepts, and I'm terrible at drawing, so like I would have to like throw ideas to Zach, and he would come up with it. I mean, and then we were gonna do a Carlisle Banks, like it's like a because he goes by Joe Banks, you know, his little alter ego that he does. And with Carlisle Banks, that just sounds like an Alexander Wayne or something like. It sounds like something expensive.
I was gonna be like some alligator skin suit.
Alligator.
Something we could never do. That would be Alibaba for sure.
No, totally.
Some like boots or something. Yeah.
Oh man, what are those? Carly Banks? You know,
yeah. Which is why I appreciate Tim so much, is because he drives my creative. Like he scratches that itch for me. It's like he's always pitching me, "Hey, why don't we try this? Why don't we do this?" And you mentioned it too about learning Illustrator. Illustrator was such a curve for me, and I prefer Illustrator over Photoshop.
Oh, for sure.
But same thing, you got a drawing pad.
Yeah.
Same. I threw that thing away. I'm like,
dude,
F that.
Like you would have to sit there and draw a line, and then go back and like fix the line. It's like, why not just go through first and make the line correct? It's because even with modern technology now, with like iPads and stuff, like I work with an iPad now, but I didn't have that before. And I couldn't afford one of those like super expensive Cintiq pads. That were like super precise. Like I was working with a Wacom that you can't like visually see anything on the pad. You're just kind of like ghostly. All right, well,
but it's not quite calibrated to what you see on screen.
It's not. So it always lags and like gets you off. It's like no.
Unless you buy the $800 one that has the screen on it.
Yeah. It's
which
like,
no
it's
one
not
buys.
worth it.
I sold like 3 at Best Buy in my like almost 3 years of working there. Just because people came in and wanted it.
Yeah, I've seen like the big ones that like the animators and stuff at like Adult Swim use. And
might as well buy Surface, the big Surface Studio.
Yeah. See, now I have an iPad Pro that I work on. And I'm able to go in like Procreate or Illustrator or whatever on there and draw whatever I want to, but I still bring it into Illustrator and redo the line work because it's never perfect.
I bet your tattoo artists, our tattoo artists, they all do the same thing.
Oh yeah. He drew this whole thing. My tattoo artist drew the whole thing on an iPad.
Yeah, that's how Rizzo's done, and same thing with Ryan. I'll tell them like, all right, this is what I want. They bring it up on their iPad.
It's like, why waste paper? Like you can literally sketch with a pencil on there,
and they can like modify it to like specific ways they want. They can shrink, enlarge certain things, whatever, make it to where it's like perfect to where they want to do. If it's like their design, or if it's like what the person wants, whatever. So makes it so much easier. Like the way they used to do it back in the day is just like so obsolete.
Like draw with a highlighter or a red pencil,
right?
And then put a piece of paper over it, and like draw a black, and then scan it in. It's like I hate designing. Why am I doing this? And now it's so much easier.
There's the only time where I think like doing the old school like scan thing is. Did you ever listen to my album Channel 46?
It's been a long time.
It's okay. You can say no. Anyway,
no.
That masterpiece was made.
Masterpiece.
I took the photo of that album at my parents' house. They have an old TV, and I went to 46 and took that. And on the back of it, my parents had a bunch of old blank VHSs. So I stacked them.
Oh, I remember that.
And I took that photo, and then I gave it to Zach. And Zach literally went home and wrote all the names of the songs multiple ways in different hand styles, and then scanned them in, and then put them in Illustrator, corrected them, and then made them on top of the VHS. Even made labels for them. Like he's you know how it is.
Yeah.
To me, I'm like you're like a god.
I still do that though. I don't own a scanner. Tim does now, but even the Mochi stuff is drawn, and I'm not even like a great artist. Don't ask me to draw anything. Yeah. But I can sketch something on a piece of paper and then go over it in Sharpie, take a picture of it with my phone, and then vectorize it in Illustrator and make it what I want.
Yeah.
That's where I can do it. Illustrator,
You have all the tools. There's like a full line of tools that you can just play with. And there's still things to this day that I'm learning. And it's crazy. There's endless amounts of crazy stuff in that application.
So I was going to mention news. So you know how there's that water whipping Evan kid that got really big in Birmingham?
Yeah.
So he's 17 still, and he's making more money than all of us.
I don't even know who this is.
He's the guy who shot the YBN Namir video. Anyway. So for example,
but we don't care about money anyways.
I always, but just to kind of put in, it's kind of like to put in perspective. Like for example, like we have all those tools now. So I put in the same perspective that when I was 17 years old, just like kind of like with Water Whipping Evan, he like shout out to him though. Like I mean, he got out of Birmingham. He just moved to Cali off at 17 years old and built an empire of doing videos for people, doing all this stuff. Mochi, will you get off the table? and the reason that like I'm very envious of him, because when I was 16, 17 years old, could you go into the nearest Best Buy and buy a decent camera?
No way.
No. Like there's no.
It's because the most decent camera now is all equipped in our phones.
Yeah.
It's decent enough to make quality content. You have all the apps in the app store that you could use to even start to edit video.
24 megapixels was like it was like what, like
hey,
like $$2,000.
Henry's nice new camera has 7 megapixels.
You know what I had when I was 16? A D40X.
I had
and it was 12 megapixels.
I had a Rebel. It just said Rebel. Yeah. It didn't even say anything on it. My parents bought it because they wanted to take pictures because someone probably scanned them from Best Buy.
Yeah.
And then after I did like the first like Carlisle Jones videos first call out videos I did with them, I bought a T5i because I had Scooter Lee shoot my music videos, and
oh my gosh,
and I was tired of paying money for videos, so I bought a T5i, which is better than what Scooter's camera was. He was shooting me with a T3i.
Yeah.
God damn.
All right, well, welcome back, Hayden. Damn.
Jesus Christ.
I was trying to be like discreet, inconspicuous.
Buying a camera like a T5i though is even T5i, which is what me and you are on right now.
Yeah.
That T5i like only looks pretty decent because I have a decent lens on it. But like that camera still is not even good enough to today's standards to do like content on.
Mm-hmm.
Like so, but if I had that camera back in like 2012, my videos I would have been like incredibly looking. Like I would have done everything. Like I would probably been doing videos and not even working at Best Buy if that was like the case.
Yeah.
Like for sure. And you have a better camera than I do.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, like, are you Sony or Canon? I can't remember.
Yeah, I sold my Canon. I actually sold my camera to my boss.
Okay.
So like I still use it at work. And I still have the ability to like go out and use it or whatever, but I just like stepped out of video and photo and I was like, I mean,
it's less work to do for sure.
Yeah. I mean, I still take like product photos and stuff, but I figured I needed to focus on one hobby and make it into like a business than just.
Mm-hmm. But that's my similarity personally to like y'all doing like screen printing and doing like Adobe.
Yeah.
I'm like, I can't imagine being 16, 17, 18 right now. And like, I can literally save up like $700 to $1,000 and I can get like a camera to do.
Mm-hmm.
And we talk about this on podcasts all the time. I used to do all my rap songs. I used to do all my videos with a little 10 megapixel point and shoot, which says 10 megapixels, but it's not really. And like freaking Zach had the big camcorder that he used to do with like for like skate videos and stuff like that, and he was doing like great
GL1,
it was my brother's, and I would use it without his permission.
That was a VX1000 Sony, and the ones you have like the Death Islands.
Yeah, and it recorded to these little tapes, and then we had to transfer the. Well, I worked at the skate park, and it was perfect because I would film those guys every day.
Freaking! I just remembered you talking about big camcorders and stuff like that. People doing skate videos. And I remember seeing every now and again you'd see skate videos.
Yeah,
but you'd see the dudes filming with the skate cameras, whatever, and how sometimes they'd be on a board with like gigantic cameras or even some of the smaller ones. And I'm like,
dude, the early age of action sports cameras are so cool, and there's still people using these cameras and capitalizing on them. So there's like
vintage.
There's like really the newer Supreme video that came out, like all the kids skating and stuff. That's filmed on like a VX1000, the Sony camera. Yeah, so like all of these skateboarders are still using these old cameras, and they're skating in like old style clothes, and they're like going back to like the late 90s skateboarding.
It's all coming back, man.
It's weird. It's weird how it kind of just like Jonah Hill.
It's the whole nostalgia. Check it out. It's also like people want to capture this like vintage style that was just like kind of influenced like generations to come, and like that kind of thing. I love it
because I remember filming with friends and being like, "Oh, we need a better camera. Like we gotta stop using these tapes." And like dude, like, say you wanted to like play back on a tape or something, you like mess it up. Like that happens so many times. You would lose footage.
It's like a band. Band's the same thing. We need amps and better guitars.
I feel like
and then now everybody's going back to like the tape days. And those cameras are so cool, and you can do so many things with them. And like they still have like the depth lenses and stuff. You can like adapt.
And this shoots in 4K and 60 frames.
That's what I was gonna say. I still see people like using those giant cameras, but then I see like official like accounts, whatever, and they'll just be filming people skateboarding on like the iPhone X, and I'm just like, that's for like any of those accounts, that's all you need.
Yeah.
But like to get that vintage style, that's like to make it look specific for that, whatever. I love that. I love that old style.
Yeah, I love the old style.
But at the same time, you know, I can take my iPhone XS and then put a VHS filter on it if I need to.
Or you could just download an app to make all your photos look really bad, and then it still looks really cool.
Or I can just take my ADD, put it on my Ronin my Ronin M, and put my fisheye lens on it, and then put a VHS.
Are video files flat, Dustin?
There's depth, so no, they're not flat. If you open a video file,
that was a question.
It's minutes long. So if you can put minutes and seconds into a flat form, then I don't think that it would work.
It depends on which way you're pointing the camera.
If it was physical.
Do we exist?
If virtual information,
are we living a dream?
Are we living in a simulation?
Are we living in a dream?
No.
Are we living
I don't
on a dream?
I don't want to get off topic, but since somebody brought that to the forefront, like that reality is a simulation, I can't sleep anymore.
I'm dead.
And I was like, you know, the more I see people, the more I see like there was a whole. We're going off topic. We don't got to go into this, but. Are we living in a simulation? Probably. And that's all I'm going to leave it at.
Whoa, what?
Nah, bro.
I'm with Tim on
And the simulation is flat, and it's also inside the Earth.
What is Earth if it's a simulation?
Round.
But it's also flat. It can be flat and round. But is it spherical?
It's round in shape, but it's
spherical.
It's flat in theory. Yeah, exactly.
It's flat and squarular. It's like yeah.
It's flat and square.
When will we get the first flat gaming system? I'm tired of these.
They're all flat.
No, they're not.
They're all flat. They're all squares.
Have you ever heard about the game sphere?
It's spherical.
It's spherical.
Hey, do you got Gamecast?
We're getting off subject. Anyway,
I want to bring it back to clothing because we did a bunch of LCY stuff. And it took off, but it never hit like big.
Yeah.
My brother and his wife, they do like wedding photography or wedding videography on the side. He still works a full-time job, but they're in the transition of switching over to do that full-time.
Okay.
Would you see yourself doing?
I think that's a goal. I think it's been my goal for a long time, just to kind of do it on my own. But I feel like with any aspiring musician or brand owner or whatever, you always need a backup.
Right.
So like for me working at Chase Base, I funnel a lot of my money and time from there into, not time really, just money, but I funnel a lot of my money that I make there into the brand. So like say I didn't meet my personal goal in a month to make like $3,000 or whatever, and I needed to buy a set of t-shirts. If I was $400 short, I would just pull from my savings and just, buy some t-shirts and make some money on top of it. So a lot of that money is just kind of funneled within itself. I never actually use it unless I need it for an emergency. But I wouldn't say that I make money. I do, but I don't ever use it, so I never see it.
Right.
I'll make $3,000 and I spend $3,000 on merchandise and then just keep selling and selling. And at the end of the year, I'll have like, okay, cool, I made this amount. Well, I never really saw it. So
same with camera gear.
Yeah.
Every video I made so far, because I did a lot of videos this year. All that money, I bought new gear. I haven't pocketed any of that money.
That's the way to do it.
Yeah.
So like, I feel for anybody that needs to grow and actually capitalize on what they're doing. You just got to pour as much as you can, like energy and money into whatever it is and just like let it do its thing. Because without me having my job, my full-time job, then I don't think Okie Doke would still be like thriving.
So you're in a dream.
No.
Living,
no, it's a simulation.
I'm living in a simulation of my own dream.
It makes me upset. I'm a big t-shirt guy and I have no t-shirts from you. I never even had a neck deep shirt at the point.
That's so awesome. somewhere.
No,
They're at my parents' house.
I don't want to false advertise. I want to get an Okie Doke shirt.
Okay, cool.
But he actually goes to Big Cartel and he buys the actual neck deep merch, the
I don't
real
know.
band.
I don't think that I think that I took the website down. It might still be there. I don't know. It was real cool. I have a little brain sticker.
I
don't know if
remember
you
it
guys
was on a
remember that.
landing page for a long time while you were in the transition of switching between
Oh,
what
yeah.
was gonna be what. 'Cause
Yeah.
I'm like, well, when's it coming back? What's the deal?
Yeah.
What's going on?
I had a lot of people ask, like, hey, like, what are you going to do? Like, when are you doing this? I'm like, I don't know. I'm kind of burnt out. And then
That was
finally
a
I was
big
like,
hit. It really was.
it was. It was a big thing. I had a lot of people buy it from here. Like, it was more of a local support than anything. I don't really make a lot of sales.
I feel like
you-
the timing was right, the designs were right, the name was
For
right,
sure.
like everything was right.
Yeah. And it was like I had drums. I played drums. And, like, I had a lot of friends that were in bands and stuff. And I played for The Rumor for a while.
Dude, I remember that.
So, like, I would practice with him. I played one show, and
That's
it was
crazy.
with...
Go ahead.
I can't remember the band name. We played at Matthews. It was Scream Out Loud. Was that the band? Scream Out Loud?
Screen the prayer.
It wasn't Scream the Prayer. Yeah, we
Not
played
at
Scream the
Matthew's
Prayer.
Bar and Grill.
Were they a big band?
They were a pretty big band, but they were like one of those like bands that were like tour around. It's like, oh, this band's coming to play. They weren't like they were
I
like
think I
My
remember-
Children, My Bride, but not as big.
Yeah, I think I remember
Like
that band.
MCMB like wants to think they're big, but they're really not that big. They were for what genre? What they were.
Yeah.
But other than that, they weren't.
And
big.
in like kind
Mitchell
of
Davis
Alabama.
made that band big.
Do what?
It's true.
Mitchell
Davis.
Davis made
It's
that
Dave
band big.
Matthews. I'm just kidding.
No, it's
Mitchell
100.
Davis. Yeah, no, for real. Mitchell Davis made it big. I think so.
Yeah.
That's the second Wings on Integrity music video.
There was
my
a second
God.
one?
Yeah,
Yeah, so there was the original one, and then they did another one with him because they were like, "Oh, he mentioned that he wanted some MCMB cologne because
and like
And it was
Yeah.
stupid.
so dumb."
So, I've been-
What a time.
because I've been doing like videos so much for like a lot of people in the scene
Yeah.
lately, and like the hip hop scene. These people have no clue what YouTube. Like they have no clue about YouTube. So like how I've been doing like
Yeah,
MK Slap.
yeah,
Like he just started in June.
yeah.
So he accumulated all this so fast in June.
I didn't know that.
Yeah,
Stop.
he
Hold
started
the
in
phone.
June.
This kid, this 18-year-old kid, in 6 months.
Oh, he said he wants to be on the podcast.
In 6
by the way.
months, he's accumulated.
Cool.
What is it? 1 million followers on Instagram?
No,
or something?
834. I think when I
1
checked
million
today.
followers.
So
Yeah.
I remember like being on Facebook randomly, probably 6 months ago, and seeing a video of him like randomly pop up, and it was like him in like Walmart, like punching
Yeah.
Lay's bags, like
Oh,
chip
it's
bags.
so
and-
good. It's a
Dude,
good
and
one,
I
too.
laughed so hard, and Emily rolls over and she's like, "What are you laughing so hard about?" And I'm like, "Look at this video, look." And it's just him like being so funny in Walmart. I'm like, that is hilarious. And like for some reason it made me giggle like so hard for him to like punch the chip bags. I don't know why. It was just so funny.
It's good.
And then I was like, okay, cool.
No.
And I just never saw him again. And then I didn't see him again until you posted about it. I was like, oh, he's doing music. And I saw his page and I'm like, what?
It's
He
crazy.
has more videos and I haven't seen them. So I went through all of them. Like I clicked to the right of like Instagram where you can like scroll to the videos.
Yeah.
And I just didn't stop. I just went straight through them.
Dude,
Watched them all.
We've hung out with him a couple of times.
And
It's
I found
crazy.
out he's from here.
Yeah.
What?
It's
Yeah.
crazy. Tim had talked to me about like hanging out with him a couple times, and he was over here at the house like yesterday, I want to say.
Yeah.
And Tim was talking about, he was like, it's crazy how he can just like turn that off, like him being funny, just
Yeah.
to go back to a normal kid. And he demonstrated it so clearly when you guys were eating Chinese food, whatever. I had just woken up. I walked upstairs. They were eating Chinese, and I was just like, "Oh, what's up? Oh, damn, y'all got Chinese food?" Like, what did he say? He turned it on. He was like, "Oh yeah, man, bro." And then he was all like, "Well, my belly already so fat, man. I don't know what I'll do with this."
Oh my
He just turned it on like that. Like he went from just like, "Yeah, man, it's pretty good," and then he just went
That's
like,
how comedians are. Though.
he just
you have to
went
be
so
so
wild.
quick.
And I was like, seeing him transform to a
Yeah.
normal kid who's just like,
So
Chinese
funny.
is good, to his comedic voice.
My God.
So
I wasn't ready.
I told him, hey, I asked him, I was like, you want to be on a podcast? We talked about you last week, and I showed him the clip. And he goes, yeah, I'll definitely. He goes, I'm down to do that. And I was like, are you going to do it like full character? Or are you going to be like, are you going to go back and
God.
forth? How do you want to do it? Or would you rather do like a one-on-one interview like
Right.
that? I'm just going to talk to him a little bit more about it. But I told him, I was like, we shoot for like an hour. So, I mean, you having to be slat for an hour
Right.
might break you.
Well, I'd like. Yeah, no, we'll get questions for him if he's wanting to do it. Yeah, we'll do it like full on.
So, because I think he would have like a really good conversation, but like some people don't know that. Like some people don't know.
Looking at you,
but anyway, he's funny. He makes me laugh all the time.
Yeah, I wasn't prepared for how funny the kid could be, but I mean, I watched some of his videos and I was like, all right. Some of his stuff reminds me of like the stuff that Odd Future would do, like in public, way back in the day. And what was
Loader
the show
Squad?
they had? Yeah. And
Speaking of,
I was like,
I have the Adult Swim out on my Apple TV, and me and Emily have been going back and forth and like watching all of the old Loader Squad videos, and they're so funny.
They are.
I forgot
good.
how funny that show was.
He just reminds me of old Loader Squad, and he just has like such an eye for like, and the way he acts for like today's like, I don't want to sound old, internet humor.
Yep.
He nails it to a T and just like kind of like I feel like he just does it so well.
His style. We have a friend. I know you heard on the last one called the one with Philip where we talk about Stisher stories.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So Stisher is a genius in my opinion when it comes to humor because he is so witty and so funny.
Mm-hmm.
But my favorite slogan of his is he goes, "I'm not always funny, but I'll throw out 8 jokes and I just need one to hit."
Mm-hmm.
And that's how I think Slat is in the same way. He makes a video that's full of random little small clips, and he only needs one of those to like really make you laugh.
Oh yeah.
To like get you like so the punch in the chips, that's the part you gravitate towards.
Oh yeah.
His new one where like he's like by the trash can and him jumping out of the car and dancing is my favorite part of that. But some people like the tricks is for dickheads. Like people like that kind of stuff.
That's the thing, because whenever you would see internet like personalities who are comedians be like popular on like either Twitter or Vine, whatever, they'd make like 20 Vines like a day or a week, whatever. Yeah. But only maybe one of them would go like viral and it'd be everywhere on Facebook and Twitter and stuff like that. So like, but the fact that he can make like several funny things, whatever, like you said, only needs one of them to be like really, really good. Yeah. So the more content you put out, like the better chances you have.
And also like he's really good with like budgeting and like figuring like the way to like maneuver like I like to a point where I don't even know if I was his age would be able to do it like to promote our video that we did. He would put out a video after that video for like a couple hours and then delete the video. So all the people were coming into his Instagram and then clicking on our video and then going to the link. It's already over 500K views on YouTube, by the way.
Wow.
That's going to be my first video to hit 1 million views. And like, that's
cool.
Pretty wild, yeah.
Yeah.
I never in my life, obviously I would think that I would have a video that do that,
It's ridiculous. And like, I mean, you heard on the last podcast, he's probably going to go do a song, or he's going to go do a song with like Uzi.
I saw that. Yeah, I heard about that.
So he's going to do a song with Uzi. When he came over yesterday, I told him, I was like, look, if you need help bringing him here, I mean, I can help him fly here. We can fly to him. We can drive to him. I'm down to take off work to go do that because that's an experience that money can't express.
Yeah, like exactly.
Money isn't worth anything to me to be able to do something like that.
Yeah, experience is the best.
You can't like what was it? Somebody told me one time is like money is like material things, whatever, but like memories are forever. So
that time I shot Lil Uzi Vert,
nobody can replace that.
Yeah,
right.
I'll
take off work to go to that with you guys.
I mean, you can if you
I'll
want
just
to.
be chilling.
Yeah. Who's that guy?
I'll do nothing.
You're the Blair Witch guy in the corner.
Yeah, I'll be the Blair Witch guy on the project. I'll be the taco of
meat.
What? No. Taco from Odd Future. He don't do shit, but look at him now.
He's a DJ. Dude, Taco actually has a sneaker for the NBA.
I know. I've seen it, and I was like, that's
crazy to think, like, being, like, a person who is just a personality.
He never really did anything to begin with.
Now, Jasper, I don't know what he does.
I'll be that guy.
I don't know what Jasper does.
I think he just hangs out.
They were just those other guys in Odd Future, for a while. They rapped, kinda.
Yeah. Or they just, like, share the stage.
Yeah.
Just about.
Personality. I mean, at the same time, personalities, like, you literally.
So when you think of Odd Future, you don't think of just one person. You think of a group of people.
I'm so glad this is like a clothing episode. I saw the other day on Say Cheese where they're talking about Jim Jones and Jules Santana. Which, if anyone doesn't know who that is, that's two of the rappers from the big group Dipset that had Cameron and all of them in it. And they talk about back in the day where Supreme gave both of those people $10,000 each to promote Supreme. I think I'm remembering this right. And then that's
pretty big.
Who better to boost?
It's kind of the turning point, right?
Yeah,
like insane.
I mean, because they were a skateboard company, right? Supreme was?
Yeah, skateboard.
And now they're definitely not.
It was just
now it's definitely
pop culture.
It was just streetwear,
hype beastie streetwear stuff. Yeah. So when you think of like resale value and like things that are like, oh, I need that.
That S doesn't look right. That S doesn't look right.
You look at like resale on like classic Supreme stuff on. It's stupid, man.
Yeah.
Like some of the early Supreme stuff?
Yeah, early Supreme stuff is like early Thrasher stuff.
Yeah.
And then Thrasher made a big comeback with like celebrities wearing their crap.
Yeah.
But, I mean, there's, like people in pop culture now, like Post Malone wears like Asking Alexandria shirts.
Yeah.
Future wears a Black Flag shirt, which he has no clue who that is. Just like people like that. And then like you have like people like Juice WRLD and all of them now that are like trying to like scream in their music, and then obviously
Travis Scott he wears like Exodus shirts and Pantera shirts, and I don't know if he actually listens to that or he just kind of likes the aesthetic of old death metal.
A lot of those like old like Metallica shirts and stuff like that. Like you can find those in Target, and you can find them in like.
So did Justin Bieber.
Down.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, the Purpose Store crap.
Yeah, it's true.
My friend Kika bought that hoodie.
Yeah. He just thought it looked sick.
He goes, dude, this looks sick. And then he goes, dude, that's a Justin Bieber hoodie.
He goes,
and he's like, I gotta burn this now.
Purpose Store. Yeah, they sold all the Purpose Store stuff like back into H&M. I remember like seeing it. I was like, what?
And H&M has gotten in trouble for like doing.
Dude, they've been stealing so many designs lately. I follow a few designers where they've like called them out.
They did like I remember seeing them a long time ago. They had like the Taco Bell run, and I was like, "Is Taco Bell cool with you guys doing this shit?"
Oh, I remember seeing that.
Alert the Sky.
And I was like,
"Why do I remember stuff like that?" It blows my mind.
Bands like that.
No, Alert the Sky had a Burger King shirt that said "Alert the Sky."
Gideon had the Big Al shirt. That's all I remember.
A lot of bands. I'm so mad we couldn't make those Billy Mays shirts. The original Billy Mays shirts I made you design where it had Billy Mays.
Well, yeah, I mean, I understand why they turned us down.
Are we going to talk about Magic City Hardcore Fest, or should we just skip over it?
Oh, yeah. Let's talk about that. Let's wrap back into
we talked a little bit about Dustin's original brand, Neck Deep, and then there was the Magic City Hardcore Fest, which he was going to promote that at, and we talked a little bit about venues and like Cave 9, which eventually turned into like the certain crowd for the Forge. The Forge was a DIY venue downtown Birmingham, pretty sketchy area of Birmingham at the point, but it was like the go-to like DIY venue at the moment. Probably my favorite venue of all time, next to the Firehouse
for sure.
But then at some point, and I remember what year was this? 2013. 2013. I want to say.
I don't think there's a date on it.
There's not a date.
I think it was 2013.
Did they ever do it 2 days, or there was just 1 day?
It was 2 days.
It was 2 days. They did
Yeah.
2 days.
It was a whole weekend.
I would only go to the first day.
I think that I only went to I went to both days.
I went to the first day.
I remember leaving my table
because the Mongoloids played.
Yeah,
and
I remember leaving my
played.
table during the Mongoloids and like chanting, and then
I'm so glad you like the Mongoloids.
I love the Mongoloids,
but I don't remember. I've
seen them a lot. I saw them at Green Cup after Cave 9. I also saw them at Cave 9.
It's crazy,
too.
man, because I want to go ahead and say, let's just say for the time, I feel like it was 2013 because my friends in the band, or my friend Noah, at the time, he was living with his former band, his first band, in an apartment altogether in 2013, I want to say. So I want to say it was. And they used the dates April 26th, April 27th, which happened to fall on the day that Alabama was hit by like several horrible tornadoes at the time.
Oh, in 2011, right?
In 2011, but this didn't come until 2013, I want to say.
This was out of high school, so yeah, this had to be 2013 at least.
And the DIY venue for the Forge, they had like it was supposed to be like, originally the guy who booked like a lot more bands than the poster we're looking at, like a handful of bands had the drop. Like I want to say Fire and Ice had the drop.
Yeah.
The Beautiful Ones had the drop. Like a couple more just dropped whatever because they just couldn't make it. And like Birmingham at one point we were working on having like a big hardcore fest. It was going to be like an annual thing, and it was going to be really cool. And this was our first year of going at it, and like he booked like a lot of bands for at the time were the hardcore bands at the time. Like the headlining bands was Foundation for one day, Death Before Dishonor for the other day, or Death Before Dishonor on the same day, the Mongoloids, and then on the next day, Bitter End, Brace War, and a local band that we all love called All In. A bunch of bands dropped. Apparently not as many people showed up as was expected.
I remember Daniel calling me like, hey, can you meet me at the mall like parking lot? And I need $100 from you so we can, whatever. So I had to pay, I think it was $100 to like vend there. I was like, okay, yeah, cool. So like, I remember him like being like, like kind of sketched out about like how this was going to go. Cause I remember it being like, wasn't it going to be at Zydeco before?
Yeah.
Or something? I'm glad it was at the Forge.
I feel like it started out, he was like, he couldn't work out with the day of the Forge because there was going to be a show there originally and they couldn't book that day.
Yeah.
So at some point they were just like, okay, we'll book one day at the Forge, the next day at the Zydeco, and then for whatever reason they just moved both days to the Forge. Thank God they did that because a fest at two different venues, 2 different days.
Oh yeah.
That would have been even worse for them.
Yeah.
But they ended up booking it at like the same venue, the Forge, both days. But anyways.
Yeah. What was I saying?
By the way, it was definitely 2013.
2013.
Mongoloids broke up on the 2014 in April 17.
Yep.
So
R.I.P.
Yeah, so that's their last tour. So it wasn't part of this. It was definitely 2013. Because I remember it's like them like pretty much calling it quits.
So you meet up with him, you give him $100 to vend at this. Did he express to you, hey, all these people are dropping off? Do you know at this point?
No, I didn't know anything about it. I just remember that one of my friends started a clothing brand. It was Brotherhood Apparel, and that was the backwards B that you see right next to the logo. And I remember like being super like, I guess like anxious about it because I'm like, wait, okay, I'm a small clothing brand from Birmingham that really no one knows about that's going to come here, and it's in front of like all these other bands that like I like and enjoy. So I was like, oh, this is weird. But it was like my first time vending. I had like this tiny little table, and I had like a tie-dyed like tapestry thing that I had from like middle school that I like laid over the table and just like put all my shirt designs and stuff out. And I think right next to me they sold the shirt for the Magic City Hardcore Fest, which was one of the dudes I used to skateboard with. He made the shirt design and has like all of the bands and stuff that were playing.
And like a bunch of bands ended up dropping, which is unfortunate, but like still both days are very, very solid. Like for at the time, like I said, like the headlining bands for both days at the time, solid bands, but not as many people showed up as like
there wasn't that many people
as he would have liked.
Like
collectively, it felt like collectively it felt like a normal hardcore show for each day, which was fine. But that was also kind of the downfall of like having it be a annual hardcore fest because it did not happen the following year.
Well, it was hard too because it wasn't really established. I mean, like it takes a year. Yeah, it takes a few years to establish yourself. So like the first year when we did Style Driven, not a lot of people showed up, but we got so much media coverage and things to post throughout the year to help the following year. And our last time doing it, it was a huge hit.
Do you know how much he lost off of this?
I'm not sure, but
I heard
if you had to pay the venue, you had to pay all these bands what they wanted. He definitely came out of pocket for sure.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Because these aren't like big bands, but like Foundation's huge.
Yeah,
for who they were.
Hardcore, I think
for
Foundation
who they were
1,000.
in hardcore, they're huge. Death Before Dishonor was huge in hardcore. Cold Hearted's now pretty huge, or was. A lot of these bands were really big. Brace War was big just because of like
they didn't play that many shows either.
They didn't. The 2 times that I saw them, I was only there to see Brace War.
Yeah,
that song.
The song that they said,
then,
is it called Brace War? Is it
it's an intro.
Yeah, it's an intro.
And then like Bitter End was from, and like a lot of these bands were just completely from out of town, of course. And it's just like I heard specifically one band that headlined. He paid like a ridiculous amount for one band, and they didn't have to come that far. And the only reason they came to the fest was to get paid, play a short set, and then leave. So it's like he kind of paid a band way more than they should have gotten paid.
Yeah.
So I feel like once I heard that, I was like, man,
he should have only done one day and should have done half the people.
Yeah.
It's also hard to get all of these bands together in one like weekend anyways, and I kind of feel for the reason why Sloss Fest isn't a thing anymore.
Right.
It's like the first year was great. So the second year is like, all right. Third year is like, what the fuck are you guys doing? Mm-hmm. Like, what are these bands? Why are you bringing them in?
And then you mentioned
Tower Creator just randomly in there.
See, it's like, what? So like, what's going on here? It's like, how are you paying these people and you're having like half the people show up? Like, there's nobody there.
That's
like,
what I remember
how are
seeing.
you paying for this?
I remember seeing pictures
because
of it.
I know how much it is to rent out Sloss, and it's not cheap.
Of course.
For a wedding,
that's why
it's
they
like in the
pre-order.
$20,000 range.
They
I've
drop
seen
ticket
it,
sales
yeah.
like a year in
Yeah.
advance.
So like, for them to not be established, it's a super cool idea. Have a fest at Sloss. All these cool bands are coming, but you have to have some legit headliners come in.
Yeah.
So like, for someone to come in and do a Magic City Hardcore Festival in Birmingham, first off, it's Birmingham. It's not Atlanta. It's not Nashville.
That's what I was going to bring
That's
up.
your first thing. So that's why it's hard for us to do like car shows and stuff here. It's like, who wants to go to Birmingham? The roads suck. It's still being established as as a city. There's nothing to do. There's nothing to eat. Now there is. So maybe now's the time to do it.
Right.
That's true. And like,
But I feel like all these companies or all these like booking people or whatever, they're trying so hard to like get all these like crazy cool people out, but they're like shooting so low.
mm-hmm.
You need like Lil Uzi, you need like do a Rolling Loud here, or you need to do whatever. Like, it doesn't need to be like this like small stuff and try to make some.
And that's what I was gonna think. I was like, because whenever somebody was like, "Oh, Birmingham's gonna have their own hardcore fest," and I was like, I was so hyped about it, but I was like, after seeing like certain areas around the country having hardcore fest, I was like, it seems natural for California to have a hardcore fest. It feels natural for like New York and like Jersey and Pennsylvania, and now even like Tampa's even going on their like 5th or 6th year of a hardcore fest. But I was like, those are states and scenes where I feel like those have a lot of people, have a lot of bands come out of those areas, so it feels natural for those places to have fests. And like Birmingham has like tons of local support, of course, but like nationwide, it feels like it's a lone city. It's not nearly as popular, but like
there's not a lot coming out.
We had the BJCC for people like Jay-Z.
Yeah,
right. Yeah, and it's like it's funny to see that even Gideon didn't play this, but they weren't nearly the powerhouse they were now that they were that big as they are now.
That's
to
very
play
true.
This.
He couldn't afford to pay him.
He could just pay himself.
He played the.
He couldn't pay himself. He
but
came out of pocket.
Yeah, I don't. It's so weird to like look back on that.
And that'll be this year. It'll be 6 years ago today.
Yeah,
it'll be 6 years ago. That's crazy, right? But yeah, how old do you feel now, man?
How old are you again, by the way?
I'm 25.
You're 25, so you and Hayden are the same age.
Yeah. Shout out to the Mongoloids, though, one of the greatest hardcore bands ever.
Yeah.
Seriously.
I'm so glad we have them up there. Do we? Yeah.
I hope you understand.
Wait, what
was your last?
No, what does he say? He's like, I wanna be. And then Zach hates it.
Zach hates them.
Yeah, they're not good.
Man, dude, the freaking stomp.
I hated them the first time I listened to them. I was like, what the fuck are they?
What is
this?
The stomp in True Colors. Oh my god,
dude! Time Trials was my favorite song. I also used to play that with my brother, like drums and guitar, like all the time. It was like one of my favorite things to play.
And then you like if you go back and listen to like Assorted Music, which is like 18 minutes, it's like professional orchestra music at the beginning, like a Disney movie, and then it just goes to.
And you go, "Where will this end?"
It's like,
what is that? That is not good.
Yes, hear it.
It's
live.
just hardcore.
It's just what it was, and that's why I
hardcore.
think that's why people like them is because they like stood out. And plus, they were straight edge.
I mean, there's like Red Baron.
They also had the
Mouse
straight edge
vocals.
following, and then they had like, oh man, that's fucking cool.
But
They were a mosh. They were also like a mosh band.
They were a mosh.
They for a certain time for hardcore bands, it mattered if you had mosh riffs and if you could sing along. If you had both of those things for like a hardcore band, most bands you just mosh where you don't know the fucking lyrics, so you just mosh.
Yeah.
If you could sing along and you can mosh, and they had like the riffs, that's the band, man. And Mongoloids at the time was the band,
and they had a really good lead guitarist.
And how cool does it sound? The Mongoloids. How
Because you know
cool
it's
is
just going to
that?
get wild.
And then you have a song called Bongo Stomp.
you just know it's going to
So
get wild.
cool.
You just know it's going to be stupid.
It sounds
And it's
awesome.
gonna be great.
And at face value, you're like, damn. And then you press play and you're like, press pause and go to a different page. I'm like, hell yeah, I'm in it. Play, not in it.
It just makes you want to beef up. It's like, oh yeah, it's like listening to Terror or like listening to like Madball. It's like, how cool does that sound? Like, oh,
Me and Philip made a little joke band, and kind of like because Philip was born in Hawaii, and I was born in Alabama, so we made Hawaiian Alabama hardcore as a joke. This is really bad,
Man.
but we based all of our songs off of like stuff like that. So we had Surfs Up, Aloha, a low in it, and then the bongo stomp. Like,
that doesn't sound as weird as like I saw a band from France play the Forge, and their name was Ultimate, and they were like a beatdown band. Yeah, Ultimate. No,
two vocalists.
yeah, and one of the guitarists on he had had a hoodie that said either Paris hardcore or French hardcore, and I was like, that sounds goofy, but that band was one of the hardest bands I ever saw.
It's like they
They're
just
so good.
that band. It feels like they just like found like a CD from like 2006 metalcore in 2014. Like,
Did you ever hear of Shattered Realm?
I didn't.
Well,
No.
go back and listen to Shattered Realm. They kind of sound like Shattered Realm, but they have like a European like accent. they were fucking hard.
it's really good.
I think
This one time,
it's been a good episode.
I saw Freddie Madball spit in a fire marshal's face.
Whoa.
And
That's
I never
'cause-
got to see him play.
That's because
I still never got to see Madball play.
really it was that big. Is that why?
It was that. So Cave 9 wasn't a thing anymore. They were trying to have it at the venue, and they're like, so they had it at some warehouse on the side of the like train tracks in Birmingham somewhere. I can't even remember like where it was. It's like next to Slough somewhere, and it was a Call to Preserve, Madball, and I can't remember. It was another like Christian. Maybe they weren't a Christian.
Can't believe you
hardcore
said
band.
Call to Preserve. I haven't heard that.
But
in a
no,
long
it was.
time.
I remember Call to Preserve opened, and then it starts with an R. Can't remember it.
Remember Sammy Jenkins?
Was it Nodes of Ravnir?
No, it's an older hardcore band.
Was it from Birmingham?
No, they're well known though.
Seventh Star.
No,
Point of
Hardcore?
recognition.
no.
Ruiner.
Ruiner was not Christian. Ruiner was like everything
But
but.
man, I can't remember the name of that band. They're
did
so good.
Who did your sleeve, by the way?
Josh Kaiser from.
Yeah.
That's
Red
who it
Lake.
was. My friend Hang was talking to me about it because I was trying to remember his name because I was going to look him up. My friend Hang got some stuff done by him, and I was like, I want to get tattooed by him too.
Kaiser.
Were they on Face Down?
Probably.
Probably.
No. I'm sure that I could look it up.
For today.
Anyways, it was 4 bands. It was Legion. Legion opened. Call to Reserve. The other band. Straight Edge Band. And then it was
Life Ruiner.
it's not Life.
Anyways.
And Madball. So all of these bands played,
Yeah.
and they packed out this like it looked like a storage unit when you got inside. It was like super cold. And I remember Madball was about to go on, and these fire marshals rush in with like cops. They're like, "You guys got to get out. You're over fire code. You gotta go. You gotta go." And we're like, "Oh, what?" And you hear like an altercation outside, and it's Freddie Madball, like the vocalist for
Yeah.
Madball, and he spits in fire marshal's face and goes to jail.
Oh
I'm pretty
my
sure.
God.
We were already long gone by then because this is before Green Cup. So there was Cave 9,
Mhm.
then this short known place for
I
like
didn't
maybe
know it.
two, maybe 3 shows, and then Green Cup. And that's where I saw Braceword play for like the second time, I think.
Hell yeah.
Also saw, I can't think of band names for some reason. I'm like,
Getting old.
Well, you see so many bands, dude.
Old timer.
It's another shout out to Jay because this is crazy. I'll talk about old shows with Jay all the time, and I'm like, man, we went to this show, we did this, and hung out there, and I was like, Jay, what was that band we saw that one time? And Jay will just remember off the top of his head because Jay has like a ridiculous memory for stuff like that sometimes. So
We talk about him enough. We need to get him on the show.
I wish. This is one of our homeboys, Jay's awesome. And it dawned on me that like I was like this past week I was like, man, it's already 2019, and I was like, I've known Jay since like 2013. I was like, I've known Jay for 6 years, and as much as Jay and I've hung out over the years, it doesn't feel like 6 years.
Now, are you from PG?
From Oak Grove.
Oak Grove.
OG.
Okay, but you still run with some of the PG boys,
Yeah,
don't you?
yeah.
I used
Houston
to go
and
to
Porter Branch.
Porter
and
Branch, yeah.
Chase Etheridge.
Chase, yeah.
Will Smith. Well, he wasn't from.
What is Chase doing these days?
He's still skating. Well, I mean, he's in the cars and stuff. So like, he's in like our group text.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
I think I mentioned something the other day. He brought something up about Sprinter vans.
Mhm.
I was like, oh hey, like Zach and Alex and all this stuff. So like, hey, he's building a Sprinter van.
Yeah.
He had no idea.
But after we moved, my older brother Alex, he got the spot at Skate Shack. So
Yeah.
he was a
Yeah.
lot closer with everybody.
I remember
than
like
was.
going in and like seeing him in his like black emo hair.
He listens to the podcast.
I was
way.
like, man, that shit is so cool. And
Yeah,
like,
dude.
I would hang out with like him and like Alan Poole and like skateboard with like Austin Freeman. He was crazy back then.
Yeah, dude.
That's like the early age of skateboarding for me.
Yeah,
and it
dude.
was so much fun.
because Skate Shack
So
was that
cool.
place. We're gonna have Alex on an episode. He's gonna tell the story about
Jeez.
Skate Shack went on not like a tour, but they went to the skate
Yeah.
event, and then they were robbed at gunpoint.
I've
These
heard the
guys, like,
story.
broke
It's
into
good.
their hotel.
Yo,
room
It's good.
and took
This
all
is
their
a
stuff.
good story.
I want
Yeah.
to hear this, so don't
It's a
nobody
good story.
spoil
We'll let
it.
Alex
We're
get
gonna wait
it.
till
Let's
Alex
get it.
comes
Story.
on.
Yeah,
Can you
but
get
Alex, he grew his hair out really long, and then his senior prank, they went out on the football field the night before the big rival game with a bunch of weed killer and drew a so that the next day while the players were playing, there's a big well, they got busted. Alex went to boot camp and had to shave his head. That's when he lost all his hair.
So I remember that. And then I remember like everyone at Skate Shack shaved their head too.
Oh, really?
I remember like it was like a
I know
thing to
Alan had
do.
really long hair.
I remember like it was like a thing to do, like shave your head back then
Mm-hmm.
and be like that. So maybe
Yeah.
it was because he shaved his head. You're like,
Maybe,
hey,
I
I
don't
shaved
know.
my head, and everybody's like, well, I feel bad. I'll shave my head. too.
Actually, that mini ramp
Yeah.
that they had in the back,
Mhm.
that we built that
Yeah.
in our yard.
Man, the
Had it in our
McCown
yard.
boys, get into some trouble.
Yeah.
Go ahead, get your brother on the next episode. Maybe, who knows? Soon
He'll be on the
sometime.
last episode that I'm on. He's
I'm
gonna be
down
here for
it.
that one.
Hell
The
yeah.
big-
Are we doing it in
Bonjour.
the Sprinter?
We can. It doesn't matter.
I want to do
I
our
would
final
love to.
episode with him in the Sprinter.
That would be really cool.
I would love to do that. Hopefully, it's not too cold.
We'll walk out there because
We'll
I
warm
want to
it up.
show
Yeah, I want to see it.
show him,
I
and
really
then
want to see it.
I brought your
sick.
couch cushions to kind of get you started because your couch. We're going on 2 months. Your couch is sitting in my kitchen, and you gotta come get it. So I brought the cushions.
I don't have a truck.
Well, figure it out.
Okay.
So
You ain't gonna live there. I was just gonna
Zach,
get what I
or
want.
Tim,
Jazz.
Tim, my car's going in the shop soon for a rental car.
So you're gonna have the truck?
I'm gonna have my dad's truck. We might be able to get to the couch.
Yas.
Hopefully soon,
Okay.
sometime this week, maybe. Who knows? So it all works out fine. I didn't want to go drive 40 minutes to get my dad's truck just to do it for 3
I mean,
minutes.
I get it, but still, every morning I'm climbing over this couch to make breakfast.
I gotta do something for 3 minutes.
Let me push your sofa into your couch.
We call your house the
push your
shed
couch
for
in
a
your
reason.
kitchen, huh?
We call your house the shed for a reason.
Well, we'll have it done.
You're about to
soon.
live in a van. Shut
I'm fine
up.
with it, but I don't have a couch in the middle of
Well,
my van.
we also need to get footage of inside Zach's van because I don't know if we have that yet.
We can do that when we do the episode.
Yeah, we'll
Oh,
do
okay.
Alex's episode.
But anyway,
Cool.
Do y'all have anything else you want to ask Dustin before we end this episode of the Mochi Mochi podcast?
Anything
We'll
else?
have
And
links.
shout out to Dustin for hooking us up with his
Yeah.
sick swag. We got an awesome new banner that's going to be up.
You won't believe it. He actually loves the Mochi
So
Mochi podcast
freaking
so
cool.
much. He made Mochi a sticker
Before
You believe
Mochi
that?
was Mochi.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Look at this. Okay,
I will say
that
this
says
will be-
Mochi right
This will
there.
be
It
the
says
one and only
I was gonna say
thing on the van.
Cool.
This will be it.
until
Not
I
the LCY
slap a
sticker?
hentai sticker on there
No, because the LCY
without him knowing.
the LCY sticker isn't a weathered. It's not a vinyl. It's just like a sticker.
Well, maybe I'll make it.
decal.
Yeah, it's like
This will last like a while.
I'm just gonna
hopefully.
slap it over your.
It's high quality grade.
I'm gonna put this
vinyl.
on my car too. For
It's,
sure.
it's UV coated.
Or-
Does it fade?
yeah.
It's- I don't know.
yeah,
What-
brother.
Oh, okay.
You're
It's
a-
a quality sticker.
Yeah,
I don't know
it
if it's
looks-
UV coated.
This
your
like-
your brain sticker's still at UAB on that light up there, by the way.
Really?
Yeah, I'll take a picture of it.
Yeah,
when I go to the
I've
business
seen it.
center.
He brings that
Dude,
up all
okay,
the time.
so quick story about those stickers. Stickerrobot.com. It was a dude that like used to do graffiti and stuff. He screen printed stickers and like made a company out of it. I ordered stickers through him through like a promo special in November where you buy 1,000 die cut stickers that screen print front and then printed back with like your info and stuff on it for your website. And you bought 1,000 stickers and got 500 free. So I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna buy 1,500 of these fucking stickers, dude. I had some until.
Do you still have some?
I don't think I have anymore. But I had so many of those stickers.
Yeah.
So many that like I didn't even sell them. I would just like
just
pass them out.
That's how I
spent
had
like
some.
$700 in stickers.
Yeah,
or something like
that's
that.
how I had
just
some because
passed them
like
out.
I feel like
it helped.
I feel like
Because like, hey, here's a business card. Nope, it's a sticker, and you look on the back, and it's got like all my info on
if
it.
you didn't give me any, I feel like Derek Aldridge at one point
probably
gave me some, and like everybody had them.
I know.
There was like,
had
and that
those
was like
stickers.
such a good investment.
That was like the logo or like thing that like made the brand pop, and everybody was like, "That's cool." Some brain dude with
it was like unique enough and also like bright enough to where it was like you could pick it out.
Yeah. And I just like put it real big on the front of a shirt.
Yeah,
I don't.
It fit that time of like weird screamo bands.
I would never do that now.
No,
yeah,
it's not sleek enough. It's not sleek enough. It's not aesthetic enough.
It's not.
I have to show him that song I'm doing for. I don't think I even showed you.
You did.
I was telling him about this.
I'll show you after the podcast.
All right, let's wrap it up. Yeah, plug yourself.
You can find me at or find our products at www.okiedokebrand.com altogether, and then our Instagram is okiedokebrand as well. That's really about it. We don't really have any other websites. I want to get on Reddit. I feel like I'll get too distracted.
We're venturing into Reddit. We are.
I think I'm about to get into Reddit.
Figuring
I don't know.
Reddit is like a black hole.
Dude, it is. Like, I had a Reddit for a while, and I was just like, oh my god, it's like Facebook. You get in there, you'll get on a video, and you just keep scrolling down and like reloading videos.
But it's better than Facebook because there's almost nobody on there that you know.
Yeah.
I want to thank everyone for listening to the Mochi Mochi podcast today. And I want Zach to tell everyone where you can find the Mochi Mochi podcast.
If you don't know, now you know. Audio listeners, we're on iTunes, Spotify, and Google. You can head over to mochipodcast.com, find everything you need to know about us. We're on Instagram and Twitter at Mochi Podcast. We also run a YouTube channel. You can find all our videos on mochipodcast.com. Normally, week to week, we answer viewer-submitted questions. So if you have any questions or topics you want to ask us, head over to mochipodcast.com, click on the Ask Us button, and we'll read it on the next episode.
Yeah. And join Linda in the comments, and
look for that next week.
Mom will answer your questions on the next podcast, I swear. Anyway, I've been Tim. Next to me has been Hayden. Next to me has been Zach. And with our special guest, Dustin. Thank you again for coming on to the Mochi Mochi podcast. It's been a great episode this week, and I hope y'all all have a great day.
And we love Tim.
Yeah, we love Tim.
Ooh, that was a good one. We loved him.
I feel like Tim almost.
We love Tim!